Okay, good evening, Formula One fans from around the world. It's still Afolabi and Mustafa Jinadu. Today, we're going to be doing a profile on the AMG Petronas Mercedes-Benz driver, George Russell. We want to see his rise to stardom from his karting days right up to F1. And with me here this evening is Mustafa Jinadu. Mustafa, you're very welcome.
Thank you. I want to start with something that George Russell said. So a couple of years ago, he was driving for Williams as an apprentice, and they told him last minute, "You're going to have to drive for Hamilton and Mercedes." And he had never driven a Mercedes car. He had never done simulators. He said he had to adjust his seats. He had to learn the tire, everything, and he came within 0.02 of a second of getting pole position.
Pole position, yeah.
Now that's amazing. It's amazing for a young man who's never driven behind, at that time, what was the most explosive car in Formula One. These cars are fast, and if you're not finely tuned, you can't drive them. Russell jumped up there and performed. Now, this is what he said. He lost it by 0.02 of a second, and he's like, "I hope I have another chance like this," because he knew that Lewis Hamilton was going to be back next week, and he was upset. But you've already made it. When you jump into a Mercedes and you come 0.02 of a second behind Valtteri Bottas, that means you're good. You jump into it. But he was humble. But what he said was that, and also there was a race 2 years ago. I think it was, I'm not sure where it was, but there was rain. I think it was Belgium, not Belgium, but he put in the qualifiers, he put on slicks, and slicks cost him a podium, not a podium, but a pole position. And what he said was that he didn't mind doing that because he knew that he didn't have the points to win the championship, but it was worth the risk. George Russell is a calculated risk taker. He said that if there were points
in 2021. It was in Belgium in 2021.
Yeah, 21. So he said there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. But what he said was that either I continue finishing low or I win. If I finish low, I'm maintaining my low, so it doesn't matter. But if I win, I gain the whole glory. He also said that when he was driving with Williams, he would take risks to come 9th place, because coming 9th place will give you, or 10th place will give you points. And that brings millions of dollars to your team. But if you come below 10th, you don't get millions, and your team can't build. So why not take the risk? Because if you come 11th, it doesn't matter because your team doesn't have money anyway. So it shows he's a calculated risk taker. He did that a couple of weeks. Where was it that he won? Was it where he won and they took it away from him?
Russell?
Where was that?
That was the last, the race before the last.
Yeah, hold on. You guys talk. Yeah, hold on. Hello?
Yeah. Hello? Sorry, I sort of got mixed up there. So, so I think he was talking about
Russell, George Russell. George Russell.
Yes. Okay, go on. You take the lead.
Okay, so no problem at all. So basically, George Russell's rise to stardom started in his F2 days. Basically, he was a very, very brilliant driver in his F2, and early successes. You know, he became evident when he won the GP3 championship in 2017. His aggressive, very measured
I have to interrupt you quickly.
Style. Okay. Very measured style.
No, you continue, then I'll continue my thought. Continue on Falabi, yeah.
Okay, so basically I said it was when he won the GP3 championship in 2017 that people really took notice of him. And in 2018, he won the Formula 2 championship, back-to-back titles in this feeder series. You know, demonstrated his readiness for the highest levels. Really very aggressive, but also very calculated and measured in his style of driving.
He's calculated. Russell is a risk taker. A couple of weeks ago, he was P3 at the start of the race, and he shunted behind Norris and Verstappen when they were driving, and his shunt was very risky, but he pulled it off perfectly. But what I'm saying is that he's a risk taker. So the race in which he was too light, he told people, he said, "I've got nothing to lose. Let me go on one stop strategy." Because he knows he has nothing to lose. He's not going to win the championship this year. And it paid off. Now, everybody's accusing him of cheating. I don't know if he cheated or if his team cheated. But we have to remember that when you do a one-stop strategy like that, you lose a lot of weight, you lose tire things. But my thing is that unless you have proof that he did it, it's inexcusable to say that he did. I've listened to George Russell speak. He said that he's a risk taker, and that he also said that to get where they asked him, how do you get into Formula One? He said, through hard work. There is no way you can come in and almost beat Valtteri what's his name?
Bottas.
There's no way you can come from Williams and you've never driven a fast car before, and you learned the Mercedes car in 2 days, and you came within 0.02 of a second of pole, and you've never driven that type of car.
Yeah.
You've won in Formula 2, and you've won another one. Yeah. And also he made a statement. He said that the reason, let me finish. He said the reason I didn't know this, he beat Lewis Hamilton his first year at Mercedes. He actually outscored Lewis Hamilton. But this is what he said. He didn't say, oh, I'm better than Hamilton. He said, the reason I beat Hamilton is because Hamilton can only drive. He's the best driver when he has the best car. But when he doesn't have a good car, he doesn't drive well because he gets frustrated. But I was used to driving in Williams and poor cars, so I had to learn how to adapt for it. And now we're seeing it again, because as Mercedes gets faster, Lewis Hamilton gets better than him. So the narrative here is that Lewis Hamilton is a person, if you give him the perfect car, he will beat you. Verstappen has proven now that with an inferior car, he can push it. But if Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen had the exact same car, I think it would be very difficult to say who would win. There are different types of drivers, but George Russell is someone who makes the most out of the less. That's my argument. What do you say, Sule? Yeah. Not Verstappen, Russell, yeah. And we all agree, Lewis Hamilton is a better race pace than Russell. So when it comes to racecraft, Lewis Hamilton is a better driver. But Russell is a better qualifier. But continue going, Kunle. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't going to accuse Russell of cheating because
I wasn't saying that with you. I'm just continuing a narrative we've been talking about. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, it just sounds very far-fetched. It would sound quite comical for like.
Yeah, but Kunle, for Russell to do that, there's one thing that we know for sure. If Russell did that, it means Toto Wolff knew it. Then it means it's a team thing. So they can't say it's Russell. They have to say it's the team.
Yeah,
because there's no way you can be light without telling the engineers to make it light, because Russell's not an engineer or a mechanic. And also, it's happened before. He was light by 1.5 kilograms.
The car was light by 1.5 kilograms. I was going to say that I think it's rather far-fetched for the actual driver to, secretly pick bits and pieces off the car. But
no, they do it
from that.
Oh, they do it. They actually do that, actually. I mean, maybe it's far-fetched because to me it sounds ridiculous, but this is what the David Coulthard and the rest of them say. So I can't go. They're the experts. I'm not the expert.
Well, the cars cost these cars cost 30 million pounds. Yeah. They're literally on drip. They're literally like a patient that are ready for surgery. The way that they're so tightly strung. I would be very surprised if a driver touched anything on the car. I don't think that.
No, they do that, Kunle. I'm saying again, this is not me. Apparently, when races are over, Kunle. Apparently, when races are over, the drivers drive on their lap and pick up debris and stuff to put on their tires to get more weight. That's what happens in Formula One. I'm not making this up. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's different from what I thought it was actually when you go and pick up pieces off the car. But anyway, let me move on from there. I'd like to say about Russell. Russell has improved as a driver. I think in his first season, you said that in his earlier.
No, yeah, he actually outscored Hamilton. I was surprised to hear that he beat Hamilton, and he said that the reason he beat Hamilton was because Hamilton was frustrated because he didn't have because Red Bull was faster, and he just didn't want to work with a difficult car. And he said that the reason he beat Hamilton is because he's used throughout his career to working with cars that are inferior.
Wait, but he hasn't won a championship. When did he beat?
No, yeah, but he had one. He won in F2. He won in F2 with an inferior car.
Oh, he won in F2 in 2018. He won.
Yeah, and he said that before he came to Mercedes, he had been driving a car that was inferior, so it taught him that you work with what you have. And what I'm saying is that Hamilton is a better driver, but Hamilton, if he doesn't have a car that's perfectly prepared for him, he doesn't perform as well. And that's why Russell was outperforming him earlier. But as the Mercedes cars gets better, Hamilton gets better because he has perfect conditions. Now, what I would say is that this year, the best driver is probably Verstappen because he's pushing that car beyond what it can do. So what I'm saying is that Hamilton is not a reactive driver. He doesn't adapt to the car. He needs to have a car that he can control. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I was going to say that when it comes to Hamilton and the way he drives, he's very good in the wet. He's very good at managing his tires, and he's very consistent.
Yep.
I wanted to say something else, but it's not left. It's not left my mind.
Yep. I'll tell you the main difference that I see between Hamilton and Verstappen, Hamilton and Russell. Russell also manages his tire because he said he's done this before, in which he'll manage the tire and doesn't have degradation. Hamilton probably manages the tire a little bit better. The difference is that Hamilton handles the corners better than Russell. That's the main difference. Russell is a better starter than Hamilton. He's beaten him 10 out of 13 times this year, but Hamilton is better on the corners. And that's the main thing. Balance is the main thing in Formula One between low speed and high speed corners. And Hamilton has that advantage over Russell. To me, that's the main
Hamilton
advantage.
is faster this year. I was going to say I remember what I wanted to say when we were talking about Formula 2 and Formula 1. I was watching a program on Top Gear, and they were showing the difference between Formula 2 and Formula 1 cars. It's actually a lot bigger than you think. That you're literally barely able to react into the corners. So if Russell was better at Formula 2,
yeah, but Tikulé, I never said he was better at Formula 2. I said that he won at Formula 2, and when he won. I didn't say he was better. Hamilton won Formula 2 also. What I'm saying is that Russell has been driving inferior cars his whole career, and he's made the most. And for you to come from Williams, which is a rubbish car, and to take the Mercedes car, which is the most high-strung car, and to come 2/1000ths of a second behind Bottas and qualifying P1, it shows that you are a supreme talent. Because the topic of this show is not whether Russell's better than Hamilton. It's that Russell is not getting...
When he joined Williams in 2019, Williams was struggling, really. And he made them, he proved them. That time.
Yeah. And so my argument is that Russell is one of the most underrated drivers. To me, he's better than Norris. Now, I don't know about Piastri. Piastri is also underrated. Now, we all know that the two GOATs are Hamilton and Verstappen. Nobody's arguing that. But what we're saying is that Russell is highly underrated, and he's a better starter than Lewis, and he's a better qualifier. But Lewis has better overall race.
Do you mean off the line, or do you mean early in the season?
No. To the first bend, off the line. Yeah, he's a better starter. He's outperformed Lewis several times and come ahead of him. Lewis has struggled with starting now, and it might be because he's getting older and his reaction time and his aggression has reduced. But Lewis is better
now. So
not with the start. He's doing better now with he's being consistent with race pace.
Yeah, because it can't be his age.
I'm talking about his start. Race pace is craft. Race pace is experience. Let me finish. Starting is more of reaction time and youth.
But he's been starting very well recently as well.
Not really. George Russell at the first bend of the last race, even though Lewis Hamilton won, George Russell came from behind Hamilton and was leading him, but Hamilton beat him because of better tire management. Hamilton has not been starting well, and he has not been qualifying well, but he has been doing race pace well. These are the facts. I'm not making them up. Okay.
He's been finishing.
What are your thoughts on
Yes. He's struggled a bit.
Nobody's arguing. Hamilton has better race pace than or racecraft and race pace than Russell. Russell needs to work on how he works on the corners because Russell
race management.
Hamilton is better. Yeah, and the only person that may be equal to Hamilton or slightly better is Verstappen. Right now, I still think Verstappen right now might be the best driver in F1 right now. But it's still.
And Lorenzo have joined us.
Okay, good. Let them jump in. So I feel like we fill them in and let one of them speak. Yeah.
So basically, we are talking about George Russell and his rise to stardom and how Hamilton really influenced his development from his days in Formula 2 right up to Formula 1 and how he helped him to settle down in Mercedes. And it appears that now that Lewis Hamilton will be going to Ferrari, the spotlight will be on him, and I think it will be better for him really now that Hamilton is going to Ferrari. It will really give him an opportunity to, impose himself and show how really talented he is.
Yeah.
I don't know what Mercedes-Benz plan is for him anyway. I don't know what
Can I say one thing? Mercedes is disrespect. Sorry, Mercedes is disrespecting George Russell because they're talking about bringing in Verstappen and Antonelli. Just to fill you guys in, I didn't realize is that George Russell's first year in Mercedes, he outscored Hamilton for the season. You come in as a junior from Williams and you outscore. I'm not saying he's better than Hamilton, because George Russell was humble. And he said that the reason he beat Hamilton his first year is because he was used to driving inferior cars, and Hamilton had to learn how to drive an inferior car when Mercedes went down. And he also said as Mercedes gets better, Hamilton gets better, because no one can beat Hamilton when he has a perfect car. You see what I'm saying? So Russell is being greatly disrespected. How can Mercedes and Toto Wolff think of getting rid of someone who came and beat Hamilton his first year? And even if he doesn't beat Hamilton, he's competitive with Hamilton, who is the GOAT.
Question.
No.
I want to ask you a question.
Ask the question very quickly, because I had the point.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. You say the perfect car. How many drivers have had the perfect car?
I'll get to you later. I'll even rephrase my word. Lewis Hamilton drives well when he has a very superior car. That says it. And he's had it before with the Mercedes, which was the best when him and what's his name? The other guy, Rosberg. Superior. So we don't have to say the best car. When Lewis Hamilton has a superior car, no one can beat him. When he has a shitty car, it's the car. Mercedes was superior. Everybody knows that. But anyway, let me continue my point. So my point being my main point is that Mercedes is disrespecting George Russell. They need to sign him now for 10 years. That's all I have to say. What are your thoughts, Biodun?
Yeah, I see from the angle you're coming from, but I don't think Mercedes is actually desperate to hold on to Russell. I think any team who wants to have the best driver on the circuit, which is Max Verstappen, and I understand from the angle that Mercedes is coming from.
Can I ask you one question? If Verstappen goes to Mercedes next year, who do you think will win between him and Russell? If he goes to Mercedes, who do you think will win between him and next year? You have to remember he's going to a new car, and also I believe that we don't know the talent differential between these guys. Continue, yeah.
Max moves to Mercedes. It's definitely one of the conditions for Max moving would be he's going to be the first choice driver. He's going to be the driver.
Yeah, and so to me, that shows the corruption in F1. It shows the corruption in F1 because I'm a Verstappen fan. Here's the corruption. It's unfair. No, it's unfair because what Biodun just said is that whether Russell is better than Verstappen or not, they'll give it to Verstappen because he brings in more money.
Well, he's on reputation. He's a better driver.
But he hasn't driven the Mercedes car. He hasn't driven the Mercedes car. He hasn't driven the Mercedes car. This guy has proven that he can perform in it. And for them to disrespect him at that level, and also to bring Antonelli, why not bring Verstappen and Russell together? Because I'm going to keep it real. I'm a Verstappen fan, but Verstappen is a coward. He doesn't want to race anybody who can give him a challenge.
If he's going to any car,
we'll go to. I'm not going to argue anymore. We'll go to Biodun. Continue.
Yeah. So to be fair, I think if Max definitely moves to Mercedes, definitely there are some benefits for that for the team, more sponsorship, more endorsement, more money.
Yeah.
So you can understand why they are going for the current triple world champion. There's nothing bad that says George Russell cannot be a world champion, or George Russell is not a better driver than Hamilton. It's just that George Russell has not shown the world that.
But also, I didn't. Yeah, no, but he's shown the world. Here's how he's shown the world. He beat Hamilton. Hold on. And here's one thing: why is it not a known fact in Formula One that Russell beat Hamilton his first year there? Why don't people talk about that? He's proven that. I'm not finished. Here are the facts. No, here are the facts.
I think that's some
of the. Hold on, let me finish. Here are the facts. Here are the facts. Excuses or no excuses. Russell beat Hamilton his first year there. And here are also the facts. Hamilton has won twice this year, and Russell has won once. And Russell has out-qualified Hamilton 10 out of 13. I'm not saying he's better. What I am saying, like Cameron said, put some freaking respect to his name.
Hamilton is ahead of him.
I think one of the things Russell is very good.
Oh yeah, he's ahead. Nobody's arguing that. What I'm saying is that Russell has proven, and also Russell is a known entity. You cannot. They call a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. You don't have Verstappen, so now you fashi Russell, and you chase Verstappen, then you lose Verstappen, and now Russell is angry. That's what I'm
Russell
saying.
ahead of the two world champions in any car.
I'm not putting it ahead. Did you hear what I said, Conley? You're not listening. I'm saying that by courting Verstappen, they are messing up somebody they have, because Verstappen will not go to Mercedes. And now they've destroyed their driver who they already had by ignoring him and chasing someone they don't have. Continue.
No, I think I get what you're saying. He's trying to, but I think one thing with Mercedes is that typically, Mercedes is one of those things that one of their priorities is always to win the Constructors' Championship. And one of the things they always tend to have is to have two good drivers. When they had
so why not have Verstappen and Russell?
Former world champion, they used to have Nico Rosberg and Valtteri Bottas. So maybe they are looking at having two good drivers like Max and Russell both on the same team. But Russell knows that anything that makes Max come is going to be number two. And that will definitely upset him, and he might want to leave. So I understand from the perspective you're coming from.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Just like Piastri, you're going to see, to me, Russell is top 4 drivers in the world. Piastri is top 4, top 5. What Formula One is doing now is it's taking its best drivers and demoting them to small teams like Williams, like Sainz, who goes to Williams. Where will Russell go if Verstappen comes and they kick? Russell will not take number 2. Haas. And then you'll have guys like Checo driving in Red Bull, and you'll have guys like Hamilton, who's okay, but Hamilton is 42. He doesn't have much time. So now we've sacrificed Piastri's career so that he can go to Ferrari, which is a rubbish team, and make 42 million. So what I'm saying is that Formula One needs to now focus on its young people. Lando Norris, Piastri, not Piastri, Lando Norris,
Leclerc.
Piastri, Leclerc, Russell, and Sainz. They need to focus on that, because in 2 years, Hamilton won't be here. Even Verstappen is 28, and now we have Antonelli coming in. So what I'm saying is that Mercedes needs to establish Russell as their first pick now that Hamilton has left, because he's a known entity. And I promise you, Verstappen's not going to Mercedes next year. So you need to.
Are you sure about that?
You never go. So my argument is that Mercedes and Toto need to put all of their energy and their money into Russell, and they need to market him better than they're marketing him. He's an F2 champion. He has a better record than Antonelli had when he was in the same levels as Antonelli, but nobody talks about him.
So if Verstappen is not going to
what are your thoughts, Lorato? What are your thoughts, Lorato?
Yeah. I think it, like, to me, this entire drivers market season that we've been seeing now in the summer has been a bit of a mess. And I don't think teams are thinking about it the way we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
The way you're thinking to give Russell respect. I think they're thinking about it in terms of numbers, about it from a business perspective, in terms of what's going to bring them. So getting Max Verstappen, for example, is going to bring them more money, as opposed to having just George Russell. But I think you're correct that they could grow the brand of George Russell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what we're seeing in what you're saying is that there is a huge investment in the legacy kind of like projects. I think Lewis Hamilton is a legacy project.
Yep. And also, sorry to cut you in front. They're even treating Antonelli with more respect than Russell. They're already treating him as a legacy. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. I mean, I think he comes with that moniker of like the next Max Verstappen, or something, like, maybe because they have similar driving styles and things like that. And I think the issue that you were mentioning with regards to Hamilton struggling with subpar cars, has to do with his driving style.
Yeah.
Right. I think the question of age does not necessarily affect his reflexes. Those things are dialed in.
Yeah.
In terms of starts and things like that. I think it's something that it's almost like second nature.
Okay.
It's not something that he can get wrong too many times. It's almost natural.
Although I would argue that reaction time still has to do with the excitation of the neurons, and as you get older, that slows down.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's
but you know what? I think I agree with you. Sorry to interrupt you. It just means that Russell is very good too, because even if he's not outdoing Russell, if he's not outdoing Lewis, at least he's at the same level. So we have to give respect to Russell. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm just making the point in terms of like driver styles.
Yeah.
If you compare Russell and Hamilton screen on screen, you will see that they take very different lines. Which has to do. I mean, I think last year, it had to do with the cockpit positioning. The fact that a lot of the times Lewis would get the measurements wrong when he has to take the turn, in terms of his style of like late braking and
I was going to say that Lewis is usually better on the corners because he brakes later. Russell is more conservative.
But this current car was not allowing him
because of the balance.
In that style, and he has actually admitted that he has not been as adaptable to the last two cars as he had been before. Even when he came from McLaren to Mercedes, he was a little bit more adaptable. But I think this thing that I'm saying about his reflexes speaks also to his driving style, that it's already dialed in. I think Max Verstappen also has a little bit of the same problem that we're seeing now with the decline of the car, even though he's able to push it beyond the limits that the car has. But I think him and Lewis have a similar kind of.
Can I add one thing? I agree with you. I agree with you. And what we were saying before you came is that Russell is used to driving cars like that. So when it's not a problem for him, he adapts to those. That's become one of the narratives of Russell, is that he's able to work with cars that are unpredictable and things like that because of his driving style, which tends to be more. I'm trying to find the right word. He actually thinks about the car that he has, and he has an ability to adapt to it and work with it, and put in a lot more work. I think.
But I think I mean the data on Russell versus Hamilton this year is that I think Russell has been possibly a few tenths of a second overall faster than Lewis.
In terms of that's the data.
Of qualifying, like overall, and it boils down to the few seconds, milliseconds that Lewis loses in his braking when he's trying to take a sharper turn, as opposed to Russell, who takes a more fluid turn and is quicker on the gas.
But I think, sorry, I'm not trying to contradict you, but I think braking late on the corner is actually better because it means you can handle the speed more. But he's doing it too abruptly. He's doing it too abruptly.
But when you have a car that throws the back out, or under steers, and
so it goes back to what you're saying, that Lewis's style of braking late is affecting him now because the car doesn't have the same type of balance.
Because the car is not as responsive to his style of driving.
His style, So that's true.
Which is why some of these changes have had to be made.
Wow, man.
And actually, what Russell also finds is that when the car is made more towards Lewis's style, he also is able to reap the benefits of that.
Right? Yeah, because Russell, I hate to say it, he's more flexible as a driver. He's more flexible.
But outside of the flexibility, I think this also speaks to driver experience when it comes to someone like Hamilton, who can say that, who can make the comment like where the cockpit needs to be, where the wheels need to be in relation.
Yeah.
I don't think Russell has made any of those statements.
I actually think so. We have to remember that Russell called for the one-stop strategy, and the last race.
I'm not discrediting him altogether.
I would agree with you that Russell has better racecraft, because there was a race in which Russell was outqualified by Russell outqualified Hamilton, but Hamilton knew. Remember this: Hamilton put more downforce, and he knew that he would qualify behind Russell, but he knew that the next day when there was raining, he would win. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, this was the
Silverstone. Yeah. Let's go to Afolabi for that. I mean, not Afolabi. Beardham. I want Beardham to get his technical widgetry in tonight too. Beardham, take us up from that point where Lewis Hamilton has more experience and racecraft. Yeah.
Yes, I think for Lewis, I think one of the things that seem to have paid him in certain components is understanding the car, understanding the race. That vast experience he has in the sport has come to in certain tracks and
I think he's the best. He has more than that than Verstappen. Verstappen is just good reactively.
I think like Lerato rightly said, the driver's style actually has a way in terms of how he can react and perform well with the car. And I think Lewis also known for the late braking entering into the apex corner has also played a significant role in how the performance of the car has played. I think that is some of the benefits Max has enjoyed with the Red Bull car because of when he brakes late, the car is able to turn and balance properly without the.
But I think Max is in trouble now with these brake changes.
But currently, yes, and I think that is why you see Max always nagging on the radio and complaining that the car is not balanced, this, that, because some of the things that he loves to do on the track, he cannot take the risk of doing those things again. But I think not to discredit Russell, I think I watched George Russell while he was in Williams. I was one of those that actually advocated for Mercedes to sign Russell and before he came into Mercedes. So I think Russell is a tremendous talent. I don't know what Mercedes is thinking. Maybe they just want to put all their eggs in one basket, knowing that tomorrow Russell can decide.
And also, they're proving that they're not loyal. They're not loyal.
Yeah, the way Hamilton decided to leave them, maybe that is kind of making them have this paranoia that they cannot just put their hope on one driver, and it's just better you have two drivers. Because if they had known some of these things will happen, they won't have let Bottas go. But they know best. They know why they are trying to pitch Max Verstappen, and definitely Max has also come out, or Max's dad, because Verstappen has come out in the cockpit to previously say that his son will be exploring his options. So definitely, if the best player in the world currently, even in football, says he's exploring his options, definitely other teams will want to sign him. So it's not a crime.
Like Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney. I'm sorry, guys, but this is good. But let me tell you something. Don't be surprised if you see Verstappen go to Aston Martin, where most likely Adrian Newey is going to go, and then Toto Wolff is going to look like a fool. Toto Wolff lost Verstappen because he didn't take Verstappen. Now he's going to lose Russell because he's going after Verstappen. That is foolishness. Verstappen was supposed to go to Mercedes and Toto Wolff
when it was 16.
And now Toto Wolff is chasing Verstappen. Watch, my prediction is Verstappen will go to Aston Martin. If Toto Wolff keeps Russell, in 2 years, Mercedes will be the fastest car when we go to the power engine. And you have someone who's been on the team who has a relationship with the engineers. Also, did you know that Lewis Hamilton's engineer is no longer going to Ferrari? He's staying with
Mercedes.
You see what I'm saying? Because he knows Ferrari is rubbish. And he wants to stay there because of Antonelli coming in and because of Russell. So what I'm saying is that Toto Wolff has, in 2 years, is going to be McLaren and Mercedes will be the top two teams in Formula One. I think next year McLaren will win. Last start's Beetle, and then we'll go to Afolabi. Afolabi's feet are getting cold. He hasn't talked.
Yeah, I think in summary, I think it's just going to be exciting.
Formula One is exciting. It's very exciting, man.
I pray Mercedes gets the decision right. I will not say having Max is a bad thing.
Yeah.
I know Max is a tremendous.
He's probably the best driver in the world right now. Probably
the best.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things Mercedes is looking at is, they believe that in the next 2 years or next 2 years, they will have the best car on
yeah,
the
so maybe
circuit.
Max will go to
I think they are
Mercedes.
now
Yeah.
thinking that once they have the best car on the circuit, they want to have the best driver to maximize
Yeah.
results and potential for the team. So maybe that's why they are looking at pushing Max. But let's see how the world of Formula One.
It's gonna be close.
Those drivers
But my only thing is that I hope that if Max goes to Mercedes, that Russell ends up somewhere that's on a good team, because I think he deserves to be on a top 3 team, just like Sainz. Yeah.
As much as I love Max, I don't want him to go to Mercedes. So
yeah, do it. I also have your Mercedes cap hidden somewhere. All right, go ahead. Afolabi, what are your thoughts? Yeah,
basically,
and then we'll go to Kunle after Afolabi. Yeah.
Basically, I agree with everything Biodun has said. I think Verstappen would want a team that has a car that matches his talent. And right now, if he leaves Red Bull, I think his preferred destination will be Mercedes. No matter how much the deal is that Mercedes would give him.
Very quickly, you don't think? Yeah, I agree with you, but you don't think he'll go to? Sorry, I agree with you, but you don't think there's any chance that he'll go to Aston Martin?
Possible, because of Adrian Newey's impending departure to Aston Martin. But I think the possibility of Mercedes is.
And I hear
higher.
that Alonso is going to retire next year. Alonso's retiring next year. But continue. Sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
Or this idea of Mercedes bringing in Antonelli too early, I don't like it. I think they should allow Antonelli to go somewhere else and get a little bit of experience before they think of bringing him.
But they don't want to lose him. He also brings money. They don't want to lose him. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So basically, that's what I have to say.
So let's let Kunle, because I know Kunle wants to speak too. Sorry,
as bad as Ferrari.
Also, Kunle, we have 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah, as bad as Ferrari is 2.5 minutes actually. As bad as Ferrari is
I was lying to you so that you would finish early. I knew it was 3 minutes.
and you never write Ferrari off. They're very good.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Always bounce back, with or without the famous mechanic. Like Afolabi said, I believe that if Verstappen is going, he's going to Mercedes. He wants to keep winning championships. He wants to challenge Schumacher and Hamilton, and that's not going to happen at Aston Martin. Even if Aston Martin want to get up there, they need more time. So
Okay, I have last thing I say is that Mercedes will win for the first 3 or 4 years, then Aston Martin. The same way Mercedes was winning, then Verstappen and Red Bull caught up, because aerodynamics will catch up after 3 years. What do you think, Bjorn? Quickly, yeah.
You
didn't watch Honda when Max took it at first in Red Bull.
Although Red Bull is Honda engine though. Yeah. All right, guys, this is beautiful.
Yes,
thank you guys. We have 100,000 views, and this was actually our best show. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah. Thank you to Tolato coming from South Africa, who gives us good technical stuff, and thank you to Bjorn, who gives us technical. Thank you to Kunle for his knowledge, and thank you to Afolabi, who's the producer of the show. Thank you to me for just having a beer and showing up. Okay, guys. Afolabi, taking us out.
Yeah, I think my last word also would be we will see how developments change. As soon as part direction is already changing for next year.
Yeah.
Because they're prepping for
Ferrari is an unknown entity. They're unknown. They're like a joker. They can come out great. Yeah.
And when we think back to the film Rush and the Niki Lauda days and how much driver control they gave to Niki Lauda to really have control over car development. If Lewis is able to do the same thing, then there will be a clear contender. For next year, 2026.
I don't want them to cut you off yet. I don't want the camera to stop.
We have less
so we'll end on that note. Thank you very much, guys.
You guys have been wonderful. We'll see you guys next time. From here, it's
we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.